Hello, and welcome back to the Masonic Roundtable, a weekly program where Masons from around the world get together to talk about Masonic news and opinions in a friendly social manner. As a reminder, the thoughts and opinions expressed here are solely the opinions of the participants and do not represent any Grand Lodge statements or positions. Make sure you keep your conversations open for the public and on the level. To interact with us, we love seeing you live every Thursday night. Facebook and YouTube land, and the chats are always fun. We can't get to every chat, but your chat may show up in the show. And if you can't catch us live, catch us in the replay or in your favorite podcasting app. You know me, John Ruart, past master of the Patriot Lodge, number 1957 in Fairfax, Virginia. Next up for his introduction, Jason Richards. Hello and good evening, Worsh.
Hello and good evening. You're a terrible person. Jason Richards here, past master of Vacation Lodge number 16 in Clifton, Virginia. Glad to be here.
As you wish.
Yeah.
And in Mobile Masonic Command tonight, Robert Johnson. Woo! How's it going, buddy? That good, huh?
Yeah. That's great.
Well, he hasn't crashed anyone that we're aware of tonight.
Yeah. No oil tankers have taken them out.
That's good. And Joe is under the weather. Joe wishes he were here, but he's decided to share in the giving season by receiving and giving the flu throughout his household. So,
yes,
prayers for the whole Martinez family as they suffer together.
Yeah.
All right.
Trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding. Nice. If you want to trauma bond with us, we'd love to have you as a patron to support the show. Head over to patreon.com. Trauma bond together. Patreon.com/the Masonic Roundtable. So that'd be great. And yeah, we're really appreciative of our patrons. You guys are amazing. And patrons also get a little special thing, a special drawing that's coming up soon for our Secret Santa. So that'll be fun. Stay tuned after Thanksgiving as we get more information. Isn't that right, RJ? Are you back? You still alive? Yes, we have proof of life. Good.
I'm still alive. Sorry about that. I couldn't hear you guys at all. So technical difficulties in the Masonic Mobile Command, but happy to be here, guys.
Safety first. Right. Awesome. Very cool. And then next up, we go to everyone's favorite segment of the show. That's right. You guessed it. For Thanksgiving, it's
Tarot card of the week.
It's like Joe's here with us.
Yeah, we got to recut that audio to take out that awkward pause, though, because, like, I mistime it every week. It sucks.
It's anticipation.
Thank you, Dr. Frankenfurter. All right. This week, going with my daily driver is a transient light tarot, and the tarot card for our Thanksgiving show is the sun.
Da-da-da. Yay! That's apropos. You know, it's a positive card. Innocence, happiness. I was trying to think as like maybe a better Thanksgiving card would have been like the 10 of Cups, maybe, or 4 of Wands, like a good family-oriented one. But Sun's a pretty darn good one.
Yeah. I think you got ideas of abundance, or a bringer of abundance. So those are underlying themes, of course. Sweet card. Love that artwork, though.
Yes. That's your daily driver, isn't it, Jason?
It is. I may have mentioned that 2 minutes ago.
Multiple times.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Good stuff. Bringing in the harvest with the sun.
Yep. Awesome.
Well, that's fun. Very cool. All right. So for tonight's topic, we're going to talk about Thanksgiving and its Masonic secret, ? What? Because of course there is. The Freemasons are always behind it. So let's find out how the Freemasons influenced the Thanksgiving table that you may be celebrating over this upcoming week. And thank a Freemason.
And no, it's not the corn, wine, and oil.
That's maybe.
Or
maybe
is
not.
it?
Or is it? This will be fun. So yeah, just starting things off. Thanksgiving seems like a good Masonic feast, right? I mean, we have the big feast days for Freemasonry would be the feasts of Saints John the Baptist, but I don't know. Thanksgiving
And
should
the
be up there.
evangelist.
Exactly.
So, granted, the feast days were celebrated in the UK. Thanksgiving is not typically celebrated outside of the US.
Indeed.
Well, that's true. But you do have another feast day right around this time, which is our Feast of St. Andrew.
Mm-hmm. Scottish Rite has like the Feast of Tishrei as well. But,
Feast of the Fishes.
But we should, I don't know. It seems like Masonry should have more of a Thanksgiving feast as well. I don't know.
Green bean casserole, right?
That's true. That's true. You got to have green beans somewhere in Masonic feasts. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in preparation for the show, I did a little digging and I wanted to see, were the Freemasons connected to the American modern day concept of Thanksgiving? Now, if you go back, right, we have the first Thanksgiving occurring way back in the the 1620s, and obviously Freemasonry as we know it today hadn't really got to that level, right? We think maybe Elias Ashmole may have been one of the first Freemasons that was around that time period. And, still more of a Royal Society kind of guy. I don't know.
Well,
yeah, and Robert Moray in Scotland.
Robert?
I was just going to say, so in 1606, you have Masonic symbolry showing up in Nova Scotia on the 1606 slab. So this is some potential proof that there was at least the symbolry here on the North American continent. So maybe, you never know. We could have been all around the Thanksgiving table.
Interesting, right? Because we don't, I don't know if we have, I don't think there's any direct reference that I could find for any of the pilgrims that came over the Mayflower to have Masonic connections, at least immediately. I'm sure their descendants are probably somewhere in that time frame. But it did start to become a celebrated holiday over time, right? So we do know that the Pilgrims got together the next year after their first Thanksgiving to celebrate the anniversary of, and then it stayed kind of up in the North New England kind of area as pockets of celebrations. It wasn't on a regular time frame. It wasn't consistent on the date, and became, as the states grew and as the tradition grew, it became this just a casual thing that some states did over time. So there was no national Thanksgiving proclamation at all. Until the very first Thanksgiving proclamation was in 1777 by the Congress, the second Congress. Let's see, I'm trying to think of the Second Continental Congress had come out with a proclamation, just basically saying, "Hey, let's celebrate Thanksgiving together." Okay, hooray, that happened. Then, really nothing happened after that until we fast forward to Masonic brother, President George Washington, making a proclamation as a national day of celebration in 1789. Now, what you may or may not know is that, first thing, it was only applicable for that one day. So he made the proclamation. It was not an annual thing. It wasn't written into law yet. And so it just became a, hey, as president, I think we should celebrate Thanksgiving. There was much rejoicing. And, I mean, apparently it was a big deal because, you know, he was King Midas, right? Everything he said had the golden touch to it. And even his proclamation went far and wide, went printed all over the newspapers. Big deal. Still only applied for that one year that he said it. So who influenced George Washington? Well, as Masonic myth tells us, there was a brother Elias Boudinot who may have used his Masonic influence to influence Brother George Washington. Elias Boudinot was a congressman at the time, eventually became, I believe, like the director of the U.S. Mint much later. Now, what's fascinating is, if you start to weave your history together, you may find out that he is actually confused with a different brother, Elias Boudinot, in the 1830s, who was half Cherokee and actually did a lot of other great things in his time frame. Same name, different guy. So unfortunately, if you look at sources like the Grand Lodge of Ohio, unfortunately, there's no actual evidence of the 1789 Elias Boudinot to be a recognized Freemason. Probably a great guy. Probably, did a lot of good stuff in the community. Was probably very active. Masonry was growing and flourishing. Could have been. We have no historical evidence that I could find that the 1789 Elias Boudinot was a Freemason. Womp womp, unfortunately. This, unfortunately, has become mixed in with history, and so if you'll find multiple books and references that unfortunately have confused him with the actual confirmed Brother Elias Boudinot in the 1830s. So that's too bad.
However, I believe it's 1863. 1863. President Abraham Lincoln declared
Lincoln?
the last.
No.
He declared the last Thursday of November as a day of Thanksgiving. Abraham Lincoln, of course, never petitioned to receive the degrees. It is said he wanted to, but he did not because he was running for president and did not want his entry into the craft to be seen as political. And so, go ahead.
Just noting that he was surrounded by Masons. I mean, like, arguably his best boy, Stanton, right? Arguably his best boy, Stanton, was a Mason. Edwin was, as Anchorman, the guy would say, Edwin Stanton was the balls.
It's kind of a big deal.
Kind of a big deal. Many leather-bound books, smells of rich mahogany. Yeah, so I mean, Lincoln, obviously somebody who, you know what they
call
say,
it
right?
Sex Panther.
Yes. And, oh man, we got to do a show on Anchorman. Anyway, what I was going to say is that we always say that where were you first prepared to be a Mason, right? And in day, it's this intrinsic answer. And I think Lincoln just was. Like, somebody could posthumously today make Lincoln a Mason, and I don't think anybody would hate that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, we have to talk about the woman who lobbied
Oh.
Abraham Lincoln
What?
to make Thanksgiving a national holiday. Her name was Sarah Josepha Hale, and she was an American writer, poet, abolitionist, and feminist. And so did a whole lot. Did a whole lot of writing children's poems, and other books. And Miss Hale was not a Freemason, but her husband was.
Oh. So here's
So,
where it gets interesting, right?
6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
But that's not where the craft stops supporting the Thanksgiving push. Sarah had married David Hale, brother David Hale, but unfortunately he died in 1822. She was distraught, never remarried, wore black for the rest of her life. And 1 year later, because what do Masons do? They support widows and orphans. They checked in on her. They made sure she was fine. In fact, because she was strong in the abolition movement and wanted to do more writing and to get publishing, through the financial support of her ex-husband's lodge, they actually funded the publishing of her first book of poems. So That's cool. And that got her started. That got the ball rolling. In fact, it's been said, I couldn't verify it, but it's been said that they actually continued to fund her publications through the rest of her life. So she's getting traction. She's publishing. Came up with this little song. I don't know if you've heard of it. Mary Had a Little Lamb. So it's attributed to her. Yeah. So if it weren't for the Freemasons, we wouldn't have known about the song Mary Had a Little Lamb, nor would we have her continued efforts to find that there was this problem of no national celebration of Thanksgiving. She saw that. In fact, even in her time frame, in this 1830s, those Thanksgiving celebrations were relatively unknown in the South. So still a New England thing, hadn't really made it that far in the South. Well, she continues to write to presidents for about 17 years before it finally stuck. She wrote to Zachary Taylor, Millard Fillmore, Franklin Pierce, James Buchanan, and of course, finally, Abraham Lincoln. And so, through persistence and the Masonic backing, she eventually convinced Lincoln to support legislation establishing the national holiday of Thanksgiving in 1863. So I love while it can't be directly influenced, just the domino effect of without the Freemasons and their support of their widows and orphans, we may not have heard of even Mary Had a Little Lamb or have a national celebration of Thanksgiving that we know today.
Hooray, we're relevant.
Now, tie it in with the inventor of American football and Freemasonry, and you have the full Thanksgiving package. Because let's face it, Thanksgiving today is not really about giving thanks, right? It's about football and deep frying turkeys. That's kind of what I get out of it today.
Indeed. So there you go. So we do know that
sadly, Walter Camp, known as the father of American football, was a member of the Skull and Bones, but was not a Freemason.
Dang!
Can't win them all.
What a twist! Where's M. Night, bro?
Oh, can't win them all.
But brother William Naismith, if you watch basketball, Founder of basketball.
You mean Jason Naismith?
Naismith. James. To the Google.
James.
James Naismith. That's what I said. We'll
go.
fix it in post.
You said William.
James
I'm not going to fix
Naismith.
it in post.
Darn
I'm
it.
just going to call. Now we're just going to have to do Masons in sports. You got to get Mike Jarzabek on to talk about Naismith.
Oh, yeah.
And we can talk about the uphill battle and ridiculous fight we had to publish the Masonry in the Olympics issue of Fraternal Review. I digress.
There's a story there.
Oh, yeah.
Mm.
Well, there we go. So there's a little bit of Masonic history as it relates to that. So thank a Mason if you're celebrating Thanksgiving next week. Because without it, you'd have to work that day.
But now though, I think we need to go back, right? There's an opportunity here to probably answer questions about who was on the Mayflower. And take a look at those records. I wonder now. I think it's probably really easy to find out. And I wouldn't doubt it if somebody finds it out by the time I get home. But I'm going to get on this case.
There you go, chat. Light it up. Let's do it. You know, another thing it made me think when you talked about Seward with Abraham Lincoln, when they were going to make it the proclamation, I think it was rumored that she wrote parts of that, kind of ghost wrote that for Lincoln, although it went through multiple edits. Some say the final words were actually Lincoln's. However, he let's see, where do I check my notes here? He was concerned that Seward was concerned that the previous presidential proclamations, there was I think 4 different presidents before Abraham Lincoln that continued on this tradition of Thanksgiving proclamations. They wove in some Masonic language in there, and so Seward was concerned that it was going to be too Masonic, and so he had it kind of watered down. But that's interesting because now we have other Masonic influences in the other ones. I have not gone back and read the other presidential Thanksgiving proclamations. Probably great for a lodge program if you wanted to go do the research and pull out those parts.
Well, it is interesting to note, right? Like that he would probably want to remove those types of things. This is the 1860s, right? This is prime time, where the nation is beginning to heat up in regards to anti-Masonic sentiment. This is right. This is after the Morgan affair. This is it's not a surprise to me. Like, I think it would have been awesome had that verbiage been in there, and yet it's probably awesome that it isn't.
Yeah. Tone it down, Abe.
Yeah.
Read the room.
Yeah, read the room. There's a third party out there.
You should have read the room at the theater, too. Then we also have...
Damn.
that was a little dark.
Savage, bro. I'm so sorry I'm laughing at that. But anyway.
So, let's talk about thankfulness as a Masonic virtue. Again, that's where I think that it's like, should be a primetime like Masonic holiday because we're all about virtue ethics and you're trying to be a better person. And while we don't explicitly, well, or maybe we do, have thankfulness as a moral lesson that's kind of written into our Masonic ritual, it is certainly woven throughout. What would you agree with that, Jason?
Yes, it's temperance, fortitude, prudence, and thankfulness.
Yes, that's the way I remember them in my catechism.
Yes, totally. Well, I think, I think there is something to be said for being mindful of the good things that you have in your life. And I do think that that value system lends it well to the Masonic experience. But I see it as kind of a Venn diagram overlap as opposed to
Oh, absolutely.
like something that is like deliberately infused into the Masonic experience.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we have aspects of, expressing gratitude during grace, before meals, or opening and closing lodge, right? So we do have that part of gratitude to the Supreme Architect of the universe. We also have the gratitude of being together as friends and brothers, right?
Yeah.
So otherwise we wouldn't want to be there, right? So it's, again, that's where I say it's kind of woven through the Masonic experience and fabric, but not explicitly called out as something that we say you must do. You must be thankful.
Yeah.
Right. But all, humble, God-fearing men who try to join the fraternity, that should be kind of woven into who they are as well.
Yeah.
That's my experience. That's my opinion as well. And then we have the cornucopia, which is also known as
That's true.
a symbol.
The horn of plenty.
The horn of plenty.
Yes.
Yeah. Where do we find that in Masonry?
We find that on the now defunct in some jurisdictions, steward's rods.
And so what should that represent?
Well, the stewards are in charge of the food, right?
Mm-hmm. So representing plenty, of course.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. Now, I don't know if this is probably jurisdictional, but when I was junior steward, my very first officer position, we had aprons at our lodge that had the cornucopia on them, and one was facing one way and one was facing the other way, and we're like, okay, which one's which? Right. So if the stewards are sitting at the foot of the junior warden, which way do the cornucopias face? And the way it was told to me, which
points out,
it's cornucopias out, that you spill out the plenty into the lodge room to the brethren. You don't pour into the junior warden in the middle. So interesting way to think about that. I think
also
that's
think.
Added
Sorry,
symbolism.
I was just going to say that one of the things that occurs to me is that while Freemasonry doesn't necessarily push the idea of thanks, I mean, like you said, you guys hit all those points, but the one thing that I think is interesting is Thanksgiving also provides a rare opportunity for the Freemason to use those four virtues. In that, how often are we tempted at the Thanksgiving table to be tested in our prudence, in our justice, in our temperance, right? All of these virtues. And so
in some ways, in our fortitude when it goes to getting that third plate.
Yep.
I'm going to push through.
Oh, man.
And temperance, not just for the food and wine, but also for the politics that happens over the dinner table next week. Everyone's got that crazy drunk uncle that is ready to put you in your place.
I had to laugh. The IFLS page posted a big apology. They were like, "We're really sorry. Sorry that if reading science articles makes it difficult to have Thanksgiving dinner with your weird uncle and all these things." But yeah, practicing those virtues that we learn in Masonry, really, like, honestly, Freemasonry has given us all at least two things. Like probably a better Thanksgiving and a better like year-end holiday, whatever that is for you, just in relation to how we're dealing with our friends and family. Because nothing, like I've never witnessed in my life heightened feelings that happen around the holidays. So, whether you're there for somebody or you learn how to shut your mouth, whatever that is, it's there for you. And Masonry has been there for us, to hone those skills.
Now, I want to go back to something that Jason said earlier. Corn, wine, and oil.
Oil.
Yeah, so publicly, most jurisdictions have a public ceremony of cornerstone layings.
Yep.
Where anyone from the public can observe the laying of a cornerstone that will often have the symbolic use of corn, wine, and oil applied to the cornerstone before it's set. So corn is supposed to represent nourishment and plenty, wine, refreshment, and the oil of peace or joy or
gladness.
That kind of, yeah. So I say that's...
You could have muted your mic when you popped open that beer can.
I could have, but I didn't.
But, you were on a roll. I admire you just pushing through. But
so those are...
You're gonna trigger people on their morning commute.
Those are Thanksgiving adjacent symbols as well, wouldn't you agree? For nourishment and plenty, right? Cheers.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you were the morning commute guy. You're gonna cause somebody to lose their chip. So nice job.
It could have been soda.
Cracked one open on the way to work.
You were just pouring it out for your homies. I get it.
We here in the Midwest, they call them road sodies.
Nourishment and plenty. Those are also Thanksgiving adjacent Masonic values. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. Plenty of Masons are in shape. Round.
So I have a funny story about that. There I am. I think it was about the time I was junior steward. I was diving deep into the symbolism of the cornucopia, and I was trying to think, how else could one apply Masonic symbolism to cornucopia, to Thanksgiving, and all that. And one thing I thought was kind of interesting was we also have this tool called the compasses, which teaches us to subdue our passions.
We should do a show on those.
We should do that. And one thing that would be really funny, as if part of your centerpiece for your Thanksgiving spread should be for someone to place some Masonic compasses in there, so you subdue your passions and try to not eat all the food that you can.
I mean, the wishbone
Masonic diet program.
Be
the wishbone
could be compasses.
That's funny. I could see someone AI generating that right now. Replace the compasses with the wishbone. But yeah, because it should be a constant reminder for you for your Masonic diet to actually keep those passions within due bounds.
Yeah.
Slow your roll, literally and figuratively.
Slow your eating of the rolls.
Yes, so you have fewer rolls in the future.
Yes. Literally and figuratively.
Mm-hmm. Now, are there any Thanksgiving traditions that your lodge has, or any lodges in your district that you're aware of? God
damn, you're stretching out this episode.
These are really good questions that I want to know the answer to.
No.
Because I can't think of any either. Yeah, that's. I mean, I guess like most fraternal and religious organizations, everyone kind of goes home, so there's not much going on at lodge or at your place of worship. So on that Thanksgiving Day, but hey, nothing wrong with brothers who are in town alone to hang out and break bread together.
It's true.
Which actually is another thing that
we've had Friendsgiving. What about Brothers
Friendsgiving.
Giving?
Ooh, Brothers Giving. Well, I mean, that kind of reminded me that most lodges actually do have dinner beforehand or dinner afterwards, breaking bread together as a social aspect of the fraternity. So eating together is actually built into our traditions as well.
Yep.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Or a Christmas ugly sweater contest. Nice. That's amazing. We need to get Juan Sepulveda to whip up a really good, ugly Masonic Christmas sweater. Welcome back, RJ. Looking dapper.
Thanks, fellas. Lodge traditions for Thanksgiving. I every year at the Valley of Chicago, they do a large Thanksgiving spread for the membership and their families. So
see, that's cool. I like that.
And this is the benefit, right? Is a large organization putting it on, and that everybody can kind of come together. And you take something that isn't necessarily Masonic, but as we've illuminated throughout the episode, the fact that there are so many different Masonic like just connections to ideas and things that we all identify with Thanksgiving. We find that it just works well. We have all these brothers coming from all around, right? A valley of Scottish Rite Masons, for guys not knowing who are listening. This is imagine one lodge in a larger geographical area. So now you've got, instead of 12 or 13 guys coming to a meeting, not 20, 30, but maybe like 100 to 200 people might be coming to this thing. And then if you invite families and their kids and things, so this becomes a much larger sort of cohesive event where all it really does is brings people together. And the fraternity facilitates this sort of space to make it happen, right? If you could, could you do it at a local lodge? Probably. But what's really nice is this is a much bigger venue where everybody can come together and, again, be brothers, share a Thanksgiving meal together. And a lot of guys just do that. They don't do Thanksgiving at home. They just go to the Valley of Chicago.
Wow.
That's
awesome to hear.
Just do that instead.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that idea because it's a paid ticket or whatever,
sure.
but it's relatively inexpensive. It is a gorgeous venue, right? And
there are worse places to have Thanksgiving dinner.
This is a true story.
Mm-hmm.
But smaller lodges or Scottish Rite Valleys, York Rite chapters, whatever, like, you guys can do this too. There's nothing to stop you from doing it. Like Jason mentioned, Friendsgiving, I think. And we do that with several of our friends over the course of I feel like we have 10 Thanksgivings every November, December, because, some brother or brother's family or just friends want to get together. So it's a good opportunity. Like if lodges wanted to do something, they certainly could. And I think it aligns perfectly. And Grand Lodge doesn't have any kind of rules about it, so go ahead.
That's true. Ooh, so what about having a table lodge for Thanksgiving? That would be kind of cool.
See, okay, I don't like Thanksgiving. I just don't. But if you could turn Thanksgiving into a table lodge, I might dig that.
RJ might show up.
I'd show up to that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
But then
Be
Grand
fun.
Lodge would have something to say.
Yeah, good point.
Festive board.
Yes, there you
Then
go.
you've eliminated Grand Lodge control.
Agape board, yes. Mm-hmm. Well, that's all that I had in my research and topics for tonight. Anything else before we get to the final question?
Let's question it up.
Let's question it up then. It's the final question of the day. And that is...
You know I'm going to turn that into a song, right?
Gosh.
Mm-hmm. As you should.
Gotta crack another one open before this. You're a Masonic president.
Final question. Do-do-do-do.
Okay.
Do-do-do-do-do.
You, through the grace of God, become president of the United States. What Masonic adjacent holiday would you proclaim or, hopefully, enact into law? So we've got things, nice hat. We've got things, like Labor Day. Or we've got things like Thanksgiving. Let's just say you wanted to pick something that's not Masonic necessarily, but to set aside a holiday or at least a proclamation for people to celebrate some aspect of Masonry that could apply in their daily lives as well. What holiday, what day would you proclaim? Jason.
Veterans Day.
Interesting.
So we have a lot of servicemen who, and servicewomen who are both, Freemasons, but also members of the broader Masonic family. Prince Hall Freemasonry is particularly well represented within the American military, and so I think I would go with veterans as a way to thank those who are serving and putting their lives on the line, and doing so as brothers.
Very nice. I dig it. Very cool.
That one wasn't me.
Robert, what would be your proclamation or holiday?
So I'm tempted to go with a feast day, but the problem with that is I would really not want to get. I'd want to stay secular. I would go with the 4th of July. I think the celebration of our nation's founding, the idea of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, even though, it happened before the 4th of July, I think the celebratory date this is to me, when I look at the formation of the United States, the people who influenced it, the sort of philosophy these people entailed, is just so Masonic already. I think yeah, that's it.
You're going to go with that one, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Not too shabby. Not too shabby.
Here comes John with
2 patriotic holidays in a row. How's John going to mess it up?
I'm going to screw it up.
Day.
Arbor Day. No.
Yeah.
Gets a bad rap. There's no movies about Arbor Day, so step up, Hollywood. We have, I was thinking, okay, what other things...
John has wood.
What other things we want to promote? We talked about patriotism. We talked about supporting our troops and our veterans. And I was thinking, well, I don't know if there is one, but I'm sure there is by now. an interfaith day, right? Where, we want people to take time off and actually talk to someone of a different faith, right? To promote this, the tolerance, and by being a brotherhood of men under the fatherhood of God, wouldn't it be great if we had a day off to just celebrate other faiths, not necessarily that of our own? We might learn a thing or two. That would be kind of cool, and hopefully make us all better men in the end.
There
Super
is a
serendipitous.
World Interfaith Holiday Week.
Oh, but it's a whole
That
week.
is an
I'm
annual.
gonna be tired by like the third day. So
It's a little serendipitous that you mentioned that, John. We just did. You guys wouldn't know anything about it because we're super different up here. But I was just at my Scottish Rite, and we saw an exemplification of the ninth degree, in which many faiths are represented. So kind of a cool thing that you
there you
mentioned.
go.
Yeah.
Good timing. So awesome. Hope you guys learned a thing or two. I had fun looking this up and sharing some thoughts on Thanksgiving. So with that, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and keep searching for more light. Have a good night.
Wow.